Welcome everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is the next chapter in my collaboration with Carl Cook and our horror movie superlatives for the 80s. Last week we tackled 1980, so of course today we're going to tackle 1981 and pick out our horror movie superlatives. The categories we choose are Most Amazing, So Bad It's Good, WTF Movie, Best Gore, Most Unique, Most Overrated, and Most Underrated. Now, after you watch both of our videos and you see our picks, Carlin will have a poll on his channel, and we need everybody to vote on who they thought had their better picks, myself or him. And remember, this is a contest, and whoever wins the entire contest, they're going to get to choose a movie for the other person to cover on their channel. It's a lot of fun. The feedback we both received on 1980 video has been wonderful. Great comments from everybody stating they found new movies to watch, that stating we both had great picks, and it's hard to choose from, and that's really why we're doing this. We're having a lot of fun, and we both love that everybody watching these videos is having fun as well. So let's get back down to it. So sit back, relax, and let's pick some horror movie superlatives for 1981. My selection for the most amazing horror movie that came out in 1981 is The Evil Dead. I was going back and forth between The Evil Dead and My Bloody Valentine because I love both movies, but I had to settle on The Evil Dead, mainly because the impact this movie had on the horror genre. It's just an amazing movie. The gore is something else. It was done on a low budget with mostly unknown actors at the time, and if you've seen this movie, you know how incredible it is. It's spawned 2 sequels, a TV show with multiple seasons, a remake, and even a new movie, Evil Dead Rises, that comes out later on this year. The gore in this movie, like I said, is something else, and this even could have won the best gore category, but it's my selection for most amazing. The pencil in the ankle scene still creeps me out to this day, and I find it difficult to watch. And this movie has a lot of scenes like that. You have the tree scene in the forest. And I also love that shaky cam following shot where the camera is speeding through the woods. It goes through the house. And then it catches up to Ash at the end. This movie it's just a fantastic movie. Bruce Campbell's breakout role, it made him a star. He's known for this movie. I don't know what else I can really say, but yeah, The Evil Dead is definitely my choice for the most amazing horror movie that came out in 1981. My selection for the So Bad It's Good movie of 1981 is Final Exam. This movie was created as a copycat to other successful slashers, such as Halloween, Black Christmas, and even Friday the 13th. It's about a killer on the loose in a college campus, killing, college co-eds. What I like about this movie is a lot is left unexplained. You don't really find out who the killer is or what his motivation is. And without giving that explanation, it kind of builds that intrigue during the movie and it makes it interesting. Now, the acting is a little wooden and silly because I believe there was a strike going on at the time, so they used mostly unknown actors.
They shot at us. It was murder, cold-blooded murder and kidnapping. I almost got killed and some other people were shot. How can you all be laughing?
But it's still a pretty good movie. The killer, kind of lame though when you look at it. If the killer was a little bit more charismatic, this movie easily could have been a franchise. The killer did perform this pretty cool arrow catch scene towards the end of the movie when they're going up a bell tower. But yeah, Final Exam, it's not a bad movie. There are some bad aspects to it, like the acting and, the lack of gore, but they tried hard for this movie. It was made as a copycat for other slashers, and I think they actually pulled it off. And like I said, I kind of liked how things were left unexplained. It made Final Exam pretty darn interesting, I think, and that's why I chose it as the So Bad It's Good movie of 1981. My selection of 1981's WTF movie is The Pit. Now, if you've seen this movie, you can probably understand why I selected it as the WTF movie. It's got some really weird, sketchy, unsettling kid in it. You got a sentient teddy bear that tells him to kill people and do evil things. And you got Trolologs living inside of a pit. Lots of crazy stuff in this movie, and if you've seen it, you probably asked yourself a couple of times, WTF, while watching it. especially the interaction with the main kid and his babysitter, Sandy. He comes off very unsettling.
Then most of my time. I'll get it. I said I'd get it.
And when you watch it, you think, hey, maybe this teddy bear is just all in his head because the kid is crazy. But no, that's not the case, because you see the teddy bear move when nobody else is around. And that's really never addressed or explained at all in the movie. They just kind of leave it to your own interpretation, I guess. The kills are really silly in this movie. It makes a lot of the victims look really dumb. And when they killed Sandy, I actually was like, what the hell? How did this happen? Because there was still a decent amount of time left in the movie once they killed her. And even the ending has you going, WTF. So, yeah, for all the movies that came out in 1981, if you've seen The Pit, I know you're probably going to agree with me. I think it's an excellent selection for the WTF movie of 1981. My selection for the best gore in 1981 goes to An American Werewolf in London. I don't think you can even have the discussion talking about best gore in the history of horror without bringing up An American Werewolf in London. This transformation scene is just, it shows you what practical effects can really do and how CGI can never even hold a candle to classic practical effects. David's transformation is something that I could watch anytime, any place, anywhere a few times, because it's just so beautiful in its ferocity and the pain that David is feeling when he's transforming, and that all just the practical effects are just so incredible. I'm almost speechless with it because I love this movie so much, and the gore in it is just outstanding. And not only David's transformation into the werewolf, when you see Jack showing up as a ghost talking to David, and you see him slowly start to deteriorate over time, those practical effects are also outstanding. The gore in this movie is second to none, and I think it's perfectly deserving of 1981's best gore. For the most unique horror movie of 1981, I went with Possession, starring Sam Neill. This movie's about the demise of a marriage between Mark and Anna. It's a slow burn horror that has drama, thriller aspects in it that really hit the mark for this horror film. This marriage is a mess, and you really get the feel of that during the scenes with signs of division between Anna and Mark throughout, just the way the camera work goes with them being at separate sides of the room or whatnot. It shows you how broken this marriage really is, and it makes you feel very unsettled when you see, the unraveling of Mark. And this is all before like the possession aspect really even, shows its head in the movie. The movie makes you feel very hopeless and uneasy. It's disturbing without a lot of gore like slashers, but this is one of those movies that you watch that you just feel very uncomfortable. You kind of want to like turn away, but you can't because you want to see what happens next. And it just goes to the performance of the directing and, both main actors in this movie on what an outstanding job they did. I could have chose this movie for most, underrated as well, because a lot of people don't know of the movie Possession with Sam Neill. But to me, I found it very unique because it wasn't like a lot of other horror movies that came out in 1981, slashers and zombie flicks. You don't think of Possession when you really think of a horror movie. And that's why I chose it for the most unique horror movie of 1981, because it really fits the bill of that, and I definitely have to highly recommend this movie. For my most overrated horror movie that came out in 1981, I went with Dead and Buried. Now, when comparing this movie with all the other horror films that came out in 1981 that I had to choose from, this is the one that I've heard a lot about, that people say it's really great, but I just didn't care for it. I'm not saying it's a poorly made movie. I just think it's a typical zombie film with nothing really special that makes it stand out. Now, it was written by Dan O'Bannon, who has written some of the most incredible movies, scripts of all time, and I really adore his work. But this one just didn't stick with me. Like I said, it wasn't really bad. It's just a typical zombie film. It's got some cool scenes in it. When you see the guy with his head all wrapped up like a mummy and just his eyes showing, it's kind of creepy. It's not poorly made. I don't love this movie as much as other people. I was kind of a little bit bored with it. Again, not poorly made, but it's just a typical zombie film. But when you compare with all the other horror movies that came out in 1981, I think it's more towards the bottom half. There's, just a little bit more better movies out than Dead and Buried, which is why I selected this as the most overrated horror movie that came out in 1981. And finally, my selection for the most underrated horror movie that come out in 1981 is The Burning. I love The Burning. This movie came out the same year as Friday the 13th Part 2. And I think it's just as good as Friday the 13th Part 2. Some may even argue it's just a little bit better. Special effects done by Tom Savini, and when you have his name behind the helm of special effects, you're gonna get some really good death scenes, and that's what you get in this movie. I think if Cropsey was just a little bit more fleshed out or made a little bit more interesting, The Burning could have been a franchise to rival Friday the 13th with Jason Voorhees, since Jason Voorhees just came out, as the killer in Friday Part 2. The raft scene in this movie is just incredible. It's got so many great deaths in a short amount of time, and the score behind the deaths it really adds to the scene as well. It's got a great cast, a great group of characters. It's a camp slasher where you actually have kids at a camp. And with the Friday the 13th series, you didn't get that until Part 6, actually having kids at the camp in a camp slasher. The Burning is one of my favorite slashers of all time, and it should be talked about more when talking about camp slashers, and I think it definitely deserves to hold the title of the most underrated horror movie to come out in 1981. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are all my selections for some horror movie superlatives in 1981. Here's a quick recap of my selections. Most amazing horror movie, The Evil Dead. So Bad It's Good movie, Final Exam. The WTF movie, The Pit. The best gore, I don't think you can ever go wrong with choosing An American Werewolf in London. Most unique horror movie, Possession with Sam Neill. You have to watch that movie if you haven't seen it. The most overrated horror movie, I chose Dead and Buried. Again, not a bad movie, just a typical zombie movie that I don't even find too special. And the most underrated horror movie of 1981 is The Burning, and I love that movie. It's a great, great slasher. I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. And now make sure you go to Carl's channel and watch his video on 1981 as well if you have not done so already. And after you watch both videos, remember, he's going to have a poll on his channel for everyone here to vote on who they thought had the better picks. The response from last week for 1980 was fantastic, and I can't wait to see the responses for this week and to read all the comments to what everybody has to say. I really look forward to it. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I'm looking forward to doing the next year's, 1982 and so on and so forth. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I want to thank you guys for checking out this video. And if you came over here from Carl's channel and you're new to my channel, I'd really greatly appreciate it if you would give me a subscribe. I put my Nails in a Coffin videos out every Friday and these horror movie superlatives out every Wednesday. So I'm putting out 2 videos a week right now, having a lot of fun, and I hope you guys check out my Nails in a Coffin videos because those are a lot of fun, and I love to hear what you guys think about it. I appreciate it. Well, I'll see you guys this Friday for my next Nails in a Coffin, and next Wednesday for Horror Movie Superlatives 1982. And give me a like and comment down below what your picks would have been in these categories. I love to read them, and we can talk nerdy horror stuff. Okay, guys, wrapping things up. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Stay frosty. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.